Donkey Kong meets Phoenix Wright, Legend of the Crystal Turnabout. Though yesterday was filled with intense investigation, today's episode will open up the doors to the courtroom for the trial of the people of Congo Bongo versus Donkey Kong. Where Phoenix Wright goes, trouble seems to follow, and this time is no exception. Congo Bongo's most treasured relic, the crystal coconut, has been shattered to pieces, and the prime suspect is none other than the island's supposed hero, Donkey Kong. Before the island's residents can banish DK for his transgression against ape kind, Phoenix intervenes and introduces the Kongs to the concept of a legal system, where DK can have a fair trial. Phoenix himself will stand in defense as DK's attorney, of course. In doing so, however, he comes face to face with the nefarious King K. Rool, a mean, not-so-lean crocodile who has it out for the Kongs and seeks nothing less than total domination of the island. With his eyes set on taking out DK for good, K. Rool agrees to the trial and takes on the role of prosecutor. Now, with evidence in tow, Phoenix and Maya prepare themselves for a courtroom showdown they won't soon forget. Temple of Inka Dinka Doo, exterior.
So, as it turns out, the Kongs decided that the Temple of Inka Dinka Doo would be the best place on the island to set up a court of law. We got an early start in order to cross through the jungle, but here we are, outside the temple now. DK, as well as the others, are likely all inside already. The temple itself is still quite stunning to behold. I can only wonder who originally built it and why. I'm pretty excited to get a chance to see what it looks like on the inside as well.
Ow! Are you okay, Nick? It sounded like you just walked into something.
Ow! I just banged my shin against something hard. That'll teach me to watch where I'm walking.
Well, better learn to watch your step out here where it's safe, as opposed to stepping on a trap and getting crushed by a giant boulder or something.
Oh, gosh, I almost forgot that they told us the place is literally armed with booby traps. What did I run into, anyway? There's some kind of firm material here, hidden in the grass.
Maya brushes aside the leaves and foliage to take a look. The two find a pile of various materials that one would normally use for a crafting project.
There's discarded wooden planks, some of them intact, others broken into pieces. I can tell that designs have been applied to some of the wood, likely painted on by someone. A few empty cans of paint and some worn-out paintbrushes seem to confirm that much.
Did someone leave their arts and crafts project lying around?
It's hard to tell what this woodwork originally was, given that so much of it is trashed. But I just can't shake the feeling that I've seen this before.
It probably belongs to someone on the island. Maybe someone lost it. I suppose we can hold on to it for now. Once the trial is finished, we can ask around to see if anyone recognizes it.
That's probably the right thing to do. I pack away the mysterious art supplies in my travel bag. On that subject, I should review exactly what stuff we're carrying around, now more than ever. With the trial upon us, it would do us well to stay organized. Vacation photos. While taking the tour around the island, I took various photographs. Of those related to today's trial, I have a photo of the exterior as well as the interior of Cranky's cabin. The interior shows a pipe organ, various science equipment, a full-length mirror, and a golden statue of an ape holding a banana. Of course, the crystal coconut is on display in the center atop a pedestal. Barrel switch handprint. A large button outside of Cranky's cabin, one of many. This particular switch activates a catapult trap. It also has a handprint on it, which the others do not. Crime scene photo. A photograph of the inside of Cranky's cabin, taken after the crime took place. Much of it is the same, but there are banana cream markings around the area. The large mirror is gone, with only an empty frame in its place. Further banana cream markings are slightly noticeable around the area. Mirror frame. A wooden frame of what was a mirror the day before. There are strange, cut-like marks on a part of the frame that seem spaced evenly. The mirror pane itself is missing. Strange banana markings. Small, scratch-like patterns around the scene of the crime of banana cream residue. They are much smaller than handprints, or even fingerprints, so it's unlikely a human or an ape could have left these. Larry's painting. Oh yeah, I forgot we were holding on to this. This is a landscape painting of Congo Bongo Island at night, painted from the White Mountains. There's an odd shape in the sky which resembles the letter T. I was supposed to give this to the Kongs, but there are more pressing matters at the moment. Mysterious art supplies. Not related to the trial, but I don't have any way to keep this junk separate from the rest of our evidence right now. It's a collection of wood which was at some point painted to have designs on it. It looks very familiar, but I can't imagine where I would have seen something like this before. Armed with these pieces of the puzzle, Maya and I are going to have to figure everything out and prove Donkey Kong innocent. Here goes nothing.
Temple of Inka Dinka Doo, Defendant Lobby. Though the primary sources of light would ostensibly be the flaming torches lining the walls, the inside of this building is as bright as fluorescent lighting. If it weren't for the carved hieroglyphics lining the stone walls, one might think Phoenix and Maya were in a modern building.
I find myself trying to look around the ceilings to make sure this place doesn't actually run on electricity. Wonder how they pulled this off. I suppose Inka Dinka Doo does possess some kind of magic powers.
The duo reaches the defendant lobby, which is typically the area where they would wait with the client before the trial begins. Donkey Kong is already here, sitting on a couch in front of a coffee table.
DK has built what I can only describe as a Jenga tower out of peeled bananas. With careful precision, he slowly removes one banana at a time, consuming the structure piece by piece while trying to prevent it from falling. Eventually, the stability gives and the tower comes toppling down. The ruins of the banana building don't last long, however, as DK simply shoves the remainder of the fruits into his mouth.
Ooh, you picked the wrong banana, DK. If only you'd pulled the one next to it. Actually, I guess it all ends up in the same place regardless.
Hey, good morning, Maya and Phoenix.
Morning, DK. Have we said anything yet about how the banana gags get more elaborate every time he eats one?
I noticed that too. I've actually grown to look forward to seeing what he'll do next by this point.
By his standards, I thought that was actually a rather tame trick. Though, I have to wonder where he got all those bananas while he was incarcerated.
I don't know what the interior of this temple looked like beforehand, but I can tell that Larry must have done a great job conveying what our human courthouses are like. This area, styled after a defendant lobby, for instance, feels familiar to me, even if it aesthetically feels like I'm on the set of a movie.
I can't say I've ever expected to see a trial take place inside of ancient temple ruins.
Yeah, this is a new one for me, too. However, the novelty of the location can only keep our minds preoccupied for so long before the severity of the situation sinks back in. I just wish we could be a little more prepared.
Why so glum? Isn't it a good thing that you were able to get this whole court thing set up? Now we can prove that I didn't do anything wrong. Did you find anything at the scene of the crime to figure out who the real criminal was?
We searched all over, but we weren't able to find much of anything useful when we were investigating yesterday, unfortunately.
I just can't get my mind off those weird banana cream markings. The patterns are just so strange. They almost look like tiny claw marks.
Claws? Do you think Rool or his buddies may have something to do with it? Or maybe Skurvy?
I did consider the crocodiles, but the marks are small. Much smaller than the claws of any of the reptiles we've met.
Well, on the bright side, Klump and Krusha only glanced at the crime scene before they took their evidence and left. If we can shoot down whatever argument they have, they'll be even less prepared than we are.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
Well, you guys must be really smart to be those lawyer things. I'm sure you'll get everything figured out.
Excuse me, trial ready now. They're waiting for you in courtroom.
Time to get moving. Maya thumps her fist into her palm, and I gather the evidence. DK prepares himself, smoothly gliding a banana across his lips as if he were applying lip gloss. He then, predictably, eats the banana. He follows that up by straightening his tie. He even has me habitually reaching to do the same. Even though I'm in vacation clothes, I felt like keeping the tie would be appropriate. I never leave home without it. Anyway, it's time to get this show on the road.
Temple of Inka Dinka Doo courtroom. Phoenix and Maya enter the courtroom. Their attention immediately turns to the giant stone idol in the back of the room. It's a rectangular figure with 4 sides, each of them hosting a different carved face with a different expression.
I don't even have to ask to know that this must be the Inka Dinka Doo that everyone has talked about. He's so tall, I at first mistook him for a stability beam keeping the temple held up. Now, this shouldn't be the first time I'm seeing what this individual looks like. He appeared to us the other day when he called for Cranky, but I don't see any similarities at all. In fact, when I first saw him, I thought he was made of wood, like the Native American totem poles. This guy is clearly made of solid stone, though. Granted, he did appear using some sort of magical projection, so it may not exactly have been the most authentic first look at the guy. There has been a makeshift table set up in front of Inka Dinka Doo like the kind a judge would usually sit behind. There's a gavel on the surface, as well as a round sound block for it to strike. Though I'm interested in how Inka Dinka Doo would intend to use such a tool without having any hands to hold it. Anyway, the rest of the court itself certainly has all of the furnishings I would expect.
DK takes his seat in the defendant's chair, while the defense team finds their place at their respective bench. Of course, there's another bench across from them, though the prosecution team hasn't arrived yet, so it remains empty. Surrounding the room are sets of raised seating, so that the residents of the island can all sit and watch the proceedings.
This looks just like the courtroom from back home, all right.
Nice work getting the trial set up, Larry.
No worries, we all had tons of fun helping.
What's that noise? It sounds like someone's making their way into the court.
Ah, splendid! It seems we're right on time.
A voice from someone who's got bad behavior. King Rool stomps, wake up the neighbors. 3 sinister prosecutor alligators. The Kremlin crew enters the courtroom theater. King Rool makes a scene as he enters the court, followed by Krusha and General Klump. The 3 are positively dressed to impress, with the light of the torches reflecting off of Rool's sparkling gold suit just as much as it does his gold crown. He looks like he couldn't decide whether he wanted to be a disco dancer or the disco ball. Also, instead of a tie, he wears a cravat.
Well, as far as being a prosecutor, he has the right look down, I'll say that much.
So I know that somebody has to be on the team to try and prove DK's guilty, but can somebody remind me why we're leaving that job to these 3 stooges?
Oh, an excellent question, my dearest Diddy. In fact, why don't we have Cranky Kong consult the Encyclopedia Bananica to find our answer?
Well, if you want to hear specifics, it says this. In the event that foreigners introduce Congo Bongo to a legal system, it then becomes a responsibility of both apes and lizards to uphold a system that is impartial and unbiased.
But just who exactly wrote that book? There you have it.
I don't trust them. Those crooked crocodiles are always scheming bad things.
In order to deliver justice, we must see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil.
I think what Inka Dinka Doo means in saying that we have to see no evil is that justice is blind, and we have to see past preconceptions to ensure fair treatment. But as for the hear and speak no evil parts, we kinda need both of those things to discuss the crime and have a trial. I assume in saying all 3 phrases, he was making a reference to how those expressions are usually associated with wise monkeys, which is actually a pretty funny topical joke to make given that we're on an island full of talking.
Inka Dinka Doo's yell shakes the entire room. Maya immediately grabs Phoenix's arm and hides behind him defensively.
The idol Inka Dinka Doo is, rather to the point. He doesn't like it when there's too much talking.
I think we can trust Inka Dinka Doo to be a fair judge. He'll make sure that nobody tries to pull any fast ones.
If foul play happens inside of this room, for the one who does it, it shall spell their doom.
Everyone in the room nods anxiously.
I can assure you, we have nothing but the most noble of intentions. This undertaking is a grand responsibility indeed, and we intend to do our diligent duties to ensure a fair trial.
Inka Dinka Do says, the time has come. The court is my domain, and judge is my profession. The people of Congo Bongo versus Donkey Kong is now in session. Is the defense ready?
That we are, Your Honor.
Is the prosecution ready?
Is now the part where we sing the musical?
Indeed it is.
You heard the king.
Klump salutes, and the three of them scuttle around as if to get into their places.
Krusha, prepare the backing track.
Uh-oh. I left my Zune back at the base.
Oh, you scale brain. It's a good thing I came prepared. Kremlins, ready your instruments. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do I get to play an instrument?
Quiet. It's the king's time to shine.
Sit down, shut up, I'm here now. No one stands a chance, you're clowns. This courtroom is mine, you'll see. The prosecution is ready. I'm all fancied up now, see. A proper lawyer, croc, that's me. Once I prove that monkey's guilt, Donkey Kong is done. This time it will be for good. Now the crystal coconut is broken. Just remember, it's all that dumb ape's fault. Let's banish DK. Be done with this thing, then bow down to your Kremlin king.
Hey, you'll finally be a real king, sir.
Quiet, you! I'll win this trial. This island's mine. I don't care how much you whine when we end up at the final verdict, and that's guilty. This duel will be over quick. I'm coming for you, DK. Take that, you smelly bananas for brains.
He's always so full of himself.
Nick, I don't think I like this song very much.
What have I gotten myself into?
You there, down in front. The musical isn't over yet. Hey, DK, let's do this. You'll be banished. The prosecution is
Ready to begin.
Are you?
Oh yes, the very picture of impartiality.
I guess no matter how to the point one can be, this island seems to take special exception to make time for musicals.
The gavel magically lifts itself and comes crashing down onto the block.
Donkey Kong has been accused of breaking the crystal coconut, an irreplaceable relic of Congo Bongo. Does the prosecution have an opening statement?
Donkey Kong did it.
That's not really an opening statement. Usually the opening statements just lay out the facts without making any of the arguing yet.
That's what I did.
Very well. Now, the prosecution will bring in the first witness.
Superb! The first to be taking the witness stand today will be my faithful, capable detectives, Krusha and General Klump.
Hold everything now!
Despite Cranky's age, his agility is alarming. He sprints over to the witness stand. Krusha and Klump, who had already taken their place at that very location, are sent flying like bowling pins. Cranky aggressively grips the edge of the stand.
I really should stop doing that. Let me catch my breath. I demand to testify!
Rool raises his eyebrow, and the rest of his engorged eye with it, but somehow doesn't seem surprised.
Yes, quite. I suppose you taking the stand was inevitable today, so may as well get it over with.
State your name and occupation to the court.
My name's Cranky Kong. I'm retired. But I was the one in charge of keeping the crystal coconut. I'm the biggest victim here.
Very well. Proceed with your testimony, witness.
Witness testimony.
I saw the whole thing, I tell you. Donkey Kong was in my house. I saw him. Ouch! My hip smarts. Anyway, I saw him through the window.
Cranky? Are you alright?
Sorry. Like I said, my hip started acting up when I woke up yesterday. And then when all this nonsense went down, I felt the aches got twice as bad. I just want to get all this taken care of, pronto, so I can go home and rest.
Duly noted. We'll try and make this process quick for you.
The defense will now cross-examine the witness.
Cross-examination.
So what's our line of attack, Nick? I think the entire testimony sounds sketchy. After all, if Cranky was there to see DK, why didn't he stop him?
I was wondering the same thing. We should try to get more information on what Cranky claims he saw. Hold it! Cranky, about your last statement. You claim you saw DK through the window, but what exactly did you see? Where was he standing? What was he doing? I need for you to be as specific as possible about whatever it was you remember seeing.
I don't recall him moving at all. He was just standing there. I didn't see him leave or anything. But by the time I got back inside the house, nobody was there. He must have slipped out while I wasn't looking.
Now that's just bizarre. How would DK have left if he wasn't moving? What about what he was doing? Anything in particular?
Let me think. I do remember he was holding his arm up high. Oh, and he had a sparkling object in his hand.
Order.
And that's all he was doing? Just standing there holding up a sparkling object?
He held it there for a while, but at the time my hip was killing me. So it took me some time to walk over there. But in that whole time, I didn't see him go anywhere.
None of this is adding up to me. So, DK was apparently standing still? Just holding a sparkling object the whole time? And then, in the blink of an eye, he's gone? I'm starting to doubt whether this testimony is reliable at all.
Unfortunately, it won't cut it for us to just call out his reliability. We'll need something more tangible. But I'm not sure what we could use to prove whether or not DK was really standing there.
If we're making bets, I'd wager he wasn't. Look at it this way, even if he'd go into Cranky's house and Cranky didn't see him, all he did was take a pie from the fridge and leave. He wouldn't have just stood there holding up a pie for a long period. Would he?
A pie wouldn't sparkle either. And what's more, DK had likely already left the cabin by that point. But then, is Cranky making this all up?
He doesn't seem like the type to lie, especially under these circumstances. They're practically family. I don't think Cranky would go out of his way to try and get DK proven guilty.
But then Cranky must have seen something and thought it was DK.
Wait, that's it! We just need to check one of the photographs of the room and figure out if he saw something else that would have looked like DK.
It doesn't take us long at all, and now that we know the truth, it's fairly obvious. Time to go on the offensive. Objection! Cranky, I happen to have multiple vacation photos that Maya and I took of your cabin, which I'd like to show to the court. You would know better than anyone given that you live there, but have a look right here. There is a life-sized golden statue of an ape in your living room.
And you can definitely see it through the window, even if you're outside of the house.
What's more, that statue is holding a banana. A bright, sparkling gold banana. Remember that it was the middle of the day, the sun was bright, and the inside of the home was harder to see from a distance. I think you saw this statue and thought that it was Donkey Kong. Take that! We all wait in anticipation as he stares down the photograph. Eventually, he finally speaks.
Heck, you're probably right.
Is there anything else you wish to testify?
Nope, sorry everyone. Guess it was a false alarm.
However, there's still something else that's on my mind. Cranky Kong, there's something else I wanted to talk about while you're still on the stand. You may be the best person to answer this question, actually.
What's up, Nick?
Well, there's an inconsistency that we haven't really been able to figure out yet. In particular, it has to do with an item that was inside of your cabin, Cranky.
Well, sure. I'll answer the best I can. What is it?
We were comparing our vacation photo with the crime scene photo, and something stood out as odd. If you look here, there's a mirror against one of the walls. That's your mirror, correct?
Sure is.
So you already know that the mirror seems to be missing.
What? Since when? Well, I'll be.
And the strange thing is, it wasn't the entire mirror that was missing. The frame is still there, but the glass pane itself is gone. Did you move it somewhere else?
Not that I'm aware.
Just one more question then. Do you happen to know when it went missing?
Not a clue. All I can say is when I checked the day before, it was still there.
So we don't know exactly when it went missing, huh?
Maybe it's not as related to the situation as I had thought it was. Though, I think I should make note of this, at least. I go ahead and add Cranky's testimony to the evidence list. All I really need to keep record of is the fact that the mirror went missing at some point during the day of the crime.
Is there anything else to ask?
No, Your Honor. I think we're good.
A trap door swings open underneath Cranky, causing him to fall through the floor.
Oh no! Cranky!
Don't worry. Inka Dinka Doo does that all the time. He'll turn up eventually.
Huh. Okay then. That's a relief. Back to the trial. Maya and I high five.
Great job, Nick. That's our first testimony down.
All right!
Holding onto a banana, DK winds his arm back and then tosses the fruit horizontally. It goes spinning through the air and wrangles a second banana, then comes back like a boomerang for him to catch. He then eats the second banana. Let's keep our focus. This was just a warm-up. We can't let our guards down yet.
Suddenly, a trap door in the ceiling opens up. Cranky falls down from the trap door and lands right back in his seat in the gallery.
Hey, my hip's not hurting anymore. Sweet relief.
How did that just happen?
Well, that was something. Now, without any further interruption, I would like to call Krusha and Klump to the stand.
The two detectives take their positions. Given the stand only has enough room for one person, Klump takes the front and center while Krusha stands slightly off to the side.
State your names and occupations to the court.
General Klump and Krusha, reporting for duty, sir. We are the acting detectives on this case, your rockiness.
Don't call me that.
Right, sorry, Your Honor.
Proceed with your testimony, witnesses.
Witness testimony.
Cranky Kong evidently left his home at around 10:00, right after breakfast. In the 2 hours he was gone, somebody had smashed the crystal coconut to bits. Whoever did the deed made one fatal mistake. They left incriminating evidence.
We found smudges of banana cream pie at the scene of the crime.
Everyone in town agrees that Donkey Kong was walking around holding the last banana cream pie Cranky had in his fridge. Permission to present supporting evidence in addition to our testimony, Your Honor?
Very well.
Right here we have the broken crystal coconut shards, which were left at the crime scene, along with the smudge of banana cream pie residue.
Your efforts are very much appreciated. I'm so very glad we could get this whole matter taken care of and put behind us. Oh well, off to jail you go, Donkey Kong.
Objection?
That's the most lost and confused objection I've ever heard you shout, Nick.
Be that as it may, the trial isn't over yet. There hasn't been nearly enough time to examine the facts for His Honor to make a ruling. We haven't even cross-examined these two witnesses
Must
yet.
you be so incessant with all of these technicalities?
Silence! The defense must now cross-examine the witness.
Thankfully, Inka Dinka Doo seems to have a good enough grasp on how these trials go. At least so far.
Cross-examination.
Now comes the first real challenge.
We knew from the start that this would be the evidence they were bringing. That made it pretty easy to prepare for, though.
She's right. We were able to think of a way to use what we have to create a counter-argument. After all, there's a largely unexplained piece of evidence in our possession, and we'll eventually have to make sense of it to understand this crime. Objection! General Klump, this entire accusation against Donkey Kong is because he was seen with the banana cream pie after the crime. However, what if DK wasn't the only one to touch the pie?
Well, how could that possibly be the case? There was only one pie in Cranky Kong's fridge, and DK quite literally took it with him when he left.
We know for a fact that the pie ultimately ended up in DK's possession, but we also have no clue what else could have happened with that pie before he took it. While searching the crime scene, we found strange banana markings. We took several photographs of each mark we could find, which I would like to present to the court. King K. Rool takes a look, and it's as if his eye deflates as he narrows his view. He blinks, and I can tell he's clenching his fists. This isn't going to be pretty.
Oh, Klump!
What is it, Your Highness?
Why did no one inform me of this?
Because, sir, we didn't know about it.
Klump, my dearest minion, pray tell, why exactly did you not know about it?
Well, we left after we picked up the shards and a dollop of banana cream, sir.
So you mean to tell me that my investigation team, whom I instructed to investigate the crime scene, didn't investigate the crime scene?
I think we goofed.
Why would we need to, sir? We already had the indisputable evidence that
Then why are we standing here disputing it? You absolute imbeciles! There's going to be another crime scene when I get my hands on you!
Hang on for just a moment. We can still fix this.
You know what I think? I think we better think of something.
I'll think of something.
Don't bother. I've already thought of something.
Good thinking, sir.
I haven't said anything yet. So, if I'm following the defense correctly, the assertion is that these marks imply someone else touched the banana cream pie.
That's correct.
At a glance, these marks don't resemble handprints, or paw prints, or even human prints. They're much too small and narrow to be left behind by any sort of fingers. That rules out, I don't know, literally everyone. So what else could possibly have left these bizarre marks?
That we aren't sure of yet. But the fact that they're there at all means we still don't understand the whole story.
Objection!
K. Rool takes off his crown and throws it upward. It spins around a few times before coming right back down for him to catch it.
That was actually pretty stylish.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to stop this entire train of thought in its tracks. You seem to imply these mystery marks defy cause or explanation. However, Klump, fetch me a pen, would you?
Of course, sir.
Yes, thank you. Now, a banana, if you please.
Gotcha covered!
Somehow, DK's now standing next to a large, transparent tube, which I don't remember being there 5 seconds ago. It looks to be one of those vacuum delivery tunnels they use at bank drive-thrus. DK loads a banana into a small plastic container capsule. He sets the capsule inside the tube where it's sucked up and sent out of sight. There's an identical tube next to the prosecutor's desk where the capsule drops down from and arrives for K. Rool to receive the banana.
How did such a mechanism even get into an ancient temple?
Appreciated. Now, behold as I demonstrate.
K. Rool peels the banana and shoves the pin into the side of the fruit.
Why would anyone do something so silly with a banana?
Everyone present looks directly at you. That's right, you, the listener, for several seconds. Upon removing the pin, it has banana residue all over its tip. King K. Rool walks over to a nearby wall and begins drawing. As if using paint on a paintbrush, he spreads the banana cream and makes an accurate recreation of the marks in the photograph.
See? Whatever bizarre markings these are supposed to be, they could have easily been manufactured. Anyone with a pen or a pencil or some other such tool could do it. They just swipe a dab of cream off the pie, and voila!
I can't underestimate this guy. That's actually a clever explanation. I had thought he wouldn't be much of a threat since nobody on this island knew what a court was, but he's quickly showing me that he's going to be a sharp opponent and a real trouble to deal with. He even has me wondering if that may be what actually happened. Could a culprit have actually put those marks? Would a culprit, though? It doesn't make sense.
And dear me, would it not be convenient to mislead us all with a red herring? A certain lawyer could have even made the marks himself, because he needed to distract us from the fact that his client is obviously guilty.
Objection! You still have to consider how meticulous a criminal would have to be to go to such lengths. The marks are so small, we had to look extremely carefully just to find them. I find it highly unlikely that the marks were purposefully placed.
Ho ho! Then what explanation would you have then? And what could it possibly change?
I have to admit, Nick, it feels like we're grasping at straws here.
I have one last idea, Maya. If the marks are too small to belong to a Kong or a Croc, then perhaps the strange marks could be from the claws of some kind of much smaller animal, like a rat or a bird. Is there anything at all we could use in our evidence to support that there could have been an animal present?
Only one way to find out!
I look back and forth between the vacation photograph as well as the crime scene photograph, trying to find any other possible evidence. There's gotta be something. Wait a moment. In the vacation photo, there's that mirror. I'd completely overlooked whatever the mirror could have been reflecting. Perhaps the reflection could help me see something I'd missed. Hey, it's a little dark, but I can just barely see the highest corner of the room reflected in the mirror. And in that corner... Aha! This is the strongest route of attack I can feasibly take with what we've got. Time to throw in the chips. Objection! I've just discovered something absolutely crucial to this case. Upon closer inspection of this vacation photo of Cranky's cabin, take a look here at the reflection in the mirror. It's hard to notice at first, but once you do, it becomes very clear that there's some kind of yellow-chested bird perched up in the corner of the room. This photo is proof at some point this bird was inside of Cranky's cabin. And those small banana cream marks all around the room? They look to be just the right size and shape of bird talons. We know from these marks that this same bird interacted with the banana cream pie.
What does a bird being there have to do with anything?
It can explain all of the evidence, for starters. That, and it puts a serious hole in the argument that DK is the only one who could have done it. If that same cream was around the scene of the broken relic, then it's entirely possible this bird may have accidentally knocked down the crystal coconut. It's clear that the gavel is doing nothing to quell the gallery. Inka Dinka Doo tosses the gavel away completely and switches to his angry, shouting face.
The judge's shout was more than enough to quell the disorder in the room. The court sits in silence for a brief moment.
May I see that picture more closely? For the rotten. Of course it had to be that bird.
You know that bird?
Indeed. And he's the least pleasant individual you'll ever have the misfortune to meet.
As if on cue, a parrot screeches from above, and the very bird in question soars into the room.
You flatter me. Really?
Oh, joy. It's Polly Roger.
That it is, matey. What? I've been watching this nautical circus. I may as well have been watching clowns. Drowning clowns, that is. Sad. Brain dead. Drowning clowns. It's quite tragic. But now that I'm here, you can rest assured knowing someone in the room actually has a brain.
King Rool squints his eyes closed and holds his brow.
I'm calling it right now. $20. $20 that you're going to end up cross-examining that parrot.
I squint my eyes closed and hold my brow.
Wait, why is the parrot not with a pirate? Aren't parrots supposed to be with pirates?
Wow, I guess that makes two people with brains. Yours is a small one, a bit waterlogged, but there's some activity going on up there. I guess you aren't a complete airhead. Better than the rest of the balloon animals in this clown cart.
Rude?
And come to think of it, the parrot only worked with Captain Skurvy for, one episode? Every other time he was with Rool, for some reason.
I tried to give him back to Skurvy, I truly did. Forcibly. But if loyalty were gold, that bird would be bankrupt. He has turned coat so many times that I'm surprised he still knows which way is up. How many people did you backstab on your way here,
You're just sour because your plans never work. Because you're a stupid idiot.
You know what? I've actually changed my mind. I agree. I think the bird did it.
I thought you were dead set on getting Donkey Kong convicted.
Look, Phoenix, we have a cartoon rivalry going on here. I'm the bad guy, and he's the main character. We all get that. It's expected. Nothing taken personally. But this parrot, I actually hate him. Everyone hates him.
I look around the room. Everyone's nodding their heads and glaring at the bird. Even Inka Dinka Doo is wearing an angry face. Polly looks very pleased with himself, as if he's enjoying all of their hatred.
You're too kind. You're too kind.
I hate trolls like him, too.
So it's settled then. Polly did it. End of story. We'll lock the miserable macaw up and throw away the key. Sound good, everyone? No objections?
Whoa. Now hold your feathers, you bunch of banana bozos. You're gonna want to hear this. I was at the old timer's house, and I saw the whole crime.
$20. Up front. I know you're good for it.
I never agreed to that. Well, here we go again.
Most lawyers never cross-examine even one bird, yet Phoenix now finds himself about to do it for the second time in his career. Will he and Maya find the strength to wring the truth from this problematic parrot's testimony? Or will the rambunctious residents of Congo Bongo take out their frustration on the feathered fiend before any evidence can be gathered? Find out on the next pulse-pounding episode of Legend of the Crystal Turnabout. To be continued.
Hello. Polly Roger here, and I'd like to personally thank all of my fans for tuning into this episode. You're beautiful, all of you. Really, but only those of you who showed up for me specifically. Everyone else, you are ingrates, and I hate you. I kid. It's a character bit, I promise. In actuality, I happen to be voiced by Dan Chaos 1, who I might add is remarkably handsome and charming. Just saying. By proxy, that means I'm also the chief artist on this project. Go ahead and praise me. I'll wait.
Polly never told you who else Dan Chaos 1 voices, did he?
What? Yes, I did. I told him he voices me.
I am voiced by Dan Chaos 1 as well.
No, that's not possible!
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
That's impossible! Or maybe it isn't. I don't know. If he's half as talented and capable as yours truly, maybe he has it in him. Has me in him?
Sorry, I had something in my throat. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. My name is Dan Chaos. The one is silent. And I am indeed chief character and background artist of the project, by default. I'm the only artist on the project. I'd be more than grateful if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I post video game content. Sometimes I don't. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I sometimes post my art. And sometimes I don't. Sincerely, thank you for supporting this project. It means a lot to all of us. We're a very small team, but we're trying with all our hearts to take meaningful parts of our childhood and reimagine them for friends and fans alike. We're going to be hard at work recording, editing, and pulling together the next episode so we can keep this disco train a-rolling.
All right, give him a hand. But did he mention I also voiced General Klump the whole time?
Actually, that's me, Shockhog. I'm the one that voices Klump, not you.
Ha! Your Klump's in the dump. My beak's built for belting out award-winning performances. I'll be twice the Klump you are. The squiggle everyone deserves. G.I. General Klump 2. Can't wait to see it. Wow! Wow! Whoa! Whoa! Blow me down! Rool just slapped the banana cream out of me.
Keep my minion's name out of your squawking beak.